Tuesday core and proposal sessions is, for the community, I think to have a last chance to get a view on all the different proposals or active proposals that are going on, any questions that you might have. And I think also for the proposers, right, it's an awesome opportunity to still share a little bit about their own proposal, why it makes sense. And we're starting off actually today with 3 active proposals, if I'm not mistaken. We have a marketing, proposal that we'll present last, I think, today. Then we have Albert, who will present his governance proposal, which is not active yet. But I believe, Albert, if I'm not mistaken, I think you'll probably, make it active with the next epoch.
Yeah, for the next epoch, this is what we are aiming for.
Yeah.
But let's see, we are still discussing with community and computers.
Yeah, and then we have Jose and David that are also here today to share their proposal for the Qubic AI for Good, conference, which we are very excited about. Yeah, that's it, I think. Yeah, Albert, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. So for the new governance proposal, this is something that we have already discussed with the community, and we are discussing internally also with computers and some key players of the community to improve and to make something that it's going to get the incubation to the next level. So very quickly, thanks to the grants and events like the hackathon, now Qubic is entering a new stage of maturity. Now we have the tools like the depths libraries, or more important, the testnet, that it reduces the entry barriers. But there have been some issues that we want to improve. First is the communication and also how to involve the community. So we have decided that we are going to get a list of potential projects that could be interesting to fund via incubation. So once we have this list that we want the community to participate in that, we will do the voting based using the app that we are already developing. And with that, we will have a short list. And with these short lists, we can create the RFPs, or the definition of these potential projects that we want to develop into the Qubic network, and we will continue with the provider selection, follow-up, and iterative deployment, where we can have the current Q&A that it's been very useful to provide the quality we need for the grants and incubation. So this is all from our side. We are changing the last details of the proposal, so we can expect to have it by this week. And it is going to be community-based, so we won't involve all the community into the most important decisions, and also in the process of getting the projects and developers that we want to get Qubic to the next level.
Great, thank you so much, Albert. I would like to ask the community if you guys have any questions for Albert specifically on this, proposal. Is there anything specifically that you would like to know about how this governance, proposal will impact, your voice, right? This is a great opportunity now moving forward, where the community actually gets more of a say, right, on what the ecosystem team is going to build. So I would like to give you guys the opportunity to ask some questions, but otherwise I will collect those questions for now, Albert, and I think we can move on. Jose, David, hello, how are you doing?
Hello,
good,
everybody.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Very good. It's a true honor to see you guys here, and it's also so amazing to see that you guys have now created your own proposal, and you've been so active in Discord also trying to explain why this is so important. But we also felt it was very important to have you guys together and perhaps explain to the community and to computers once more why this proposal matters. so the stage is yours.
Well, thank you very much, and good evening to everybody, to GM and all the community. And as you said, we are pleased to be here. And our idea, as you know, is to trying to assist to the AI for Good 2025 in Geneva, because we feel this is a global summit for AGI and for the future of Qubic, and we will find there agencies, governments, and big tech labs and possible investors. So we feel this is the perfect audience for a live workshop. You've seen the price of the workshop, which is fixed by the organization, and that's why they feel this is very, very important, and it's a real way to show to the general public the possible outcomes of any project. So our idea is to build a workshop there and to get deeper in possible networking contacts, because there could be more than 4,000 delegates, including UN teams, EUI digital programmers, and corporates, stakeholders. So everybody's gathering there. So we think this is a really good place to position Qubic and to make people know Qubic. And I think one Qubic workshop there equals like 6 months of roundabouts and roadshows everywhere. Why? Because everybody's watching this venue, this AI for Good seminar and conference. So for us, we think it's an opportunity, and we were delighted if we could do this. We announced this quite late, because as you know, our roadmap was very visible for the QCS, but now the roadmap, the situation changes. So now we need to talk to the community directly to ask for the proposals. So that's why we just asked in the last 4 days, because there are some slots and we would like to assist. So we are free here to any question by Discord, by any way. And we just feel that we could maximize our visibility, and in these venues, in these gatherings, we could help to position Qubic as the blockchain that powers the AI for Good.
Yes, just sum it up from my side. I think that summarizes quite well what we want to do. I'm very glad also to be here today with all of you. And yes, the idea is that we have this AI strategy for Qubic, so it's not just a single thing, but it's something that is to be prolonged throughout the year. We, of course, have been previously in ICLEAR in Singapore, one of the 3 main events of research in AI, and we also expect to go to others, and we have already submitted some of the new papers and previous papers to new conference over the following months in August and later on in December. But of course, in this AI for Good I think is some special event. I have been going there since the beginning. I presented some of my books previously in the past. It's one of the single events that is fully focused on how we can make AI to really reach the world in a sense. So that's why it's promoted by the ITU, the International Telecommunications Unit, and also, of course, a lot of agencies from the UN, from education to investment to many others. And that is really the place where you can find, from astronauts to investors to, of course, many CEOs of very big Fortune 500 companies. So I think it's really a good place to showcase. If we, of course, can get into this workshop, it will be fantastic, because we can get hand to hand, really person to person directly with a wider audience. So we can share what Qubic is doing. Of course, we know that Qubic Garth is just in the beginning. We can say we have been working through different phases, and of course, if is working quite hard on trying to make it as fast as possible, as you know. And of course, we can show what is already there, and that's one good point. So they can start to hear, when they hear Qubic, of course, they will understand that we are also in the AGI business. It is not just something that is out of there. And beyond that, of course, all the things related to other other Qubic-related stuff that could be quite interesting in the blockchain side. Since this is an AI conference, we will focus a lot on AI, but of course we'll talk about everything that Qubic can hold out there, and that's why we ask for your support here. And yes, we are fully open to questions. I'm very glad to be here with all of you.
Very nice. Maybe I can ask you a question already. Like, I think the first question that I have for you guys is like, are we the only crypto project they're presenting? And I guess my second question also to you guys is like, how does a good event, look like? So when do you know when this event has been, successful for Qubic?
Well, regarding the first question, directly yes. There is no other project like this. Of course, another related projects, not directly on the side of the blockchain, but regarding AGI, have been presented in the previous year. Having met there, for example, Ben Gorthel, the person who coined it, the word AGI, and of course, he also has another project related to artificial intelligence in a wider sense. But regarding directly to this blockchain and AI and the thing that we are building on AGI, it will be unique as far as I know. Of course, it's still developing the agenda, but yes, as far as I know, yeah. Regarding the second question, do you want to go, Jose, or I can go?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. And I think that the success is being there. It's a success because we could so to speak, we could explain what we do in front of many important people and many important corporates, and we also can reinforce our brand in front of all of the people, all of the media, all of the investors and programmers and teams. So I think going there is really a success. So I think it's worthy this try.
Yeah, one thing besides the workshop itself, of course, this is a 5-day event. So basically, you meet a lot of people, you talk with a lot of people, you came across a lot of very interesting and key people that are really leaders in the fields in general of trying to build AI and all across the world. So I think it's a fantastic also place to really outreach, like of course what we have been doing previously in AClear and in other conference, but in this one is really focused not just on research, of course, but it's mostly focused on trying to develop AI at large.
Nice, thank you so much. Oh, go ahead, Albert.
Yeah, I do have one question. And regarding this event, do you think that we'll have like AGI part related? Do you think that it's going to be like a topic, or is it too soon for this topic?
Well, that's a really good question. So far, I have been going to AI events from this one, for example, since the beginning, but for others, decades old. The first ones that I went, there were just less than 100 people, and the last one where I went to with Jose to Singapore, well, we were more than 10,000. And at the beginning, there were nobody is talking about AGI. In fact, it was like a banned topic. If you talk about AGI, they don't let you be there anymore. But over the last maybe couple of years or so, 1 year and a half, it has been really a topic that is fully be able to expose. So really, there is no really a bad topic somehow or something that is banned in that regard. So this year, yes, we expect to see more people talking about AI. Of course, we have been seeing AI. Of course, we're going to have the main actors. We are going to have Nobel laureates from people that are already, of course, talking a lot about AI. So I think it's going to be one of the hot topics of the conference. It's not going to be banned at all, and it's going to be speak loud and clear. Some people will be, of course, trying to try to slow the development of AI. I have been even discussing with some people there in other years regarding that, because some people have more like an opinion that we need to decelerate the AI progress, technological progress, or human progress at large, and some other, of course, are in the other side. Like we want to accelerate all that, and we want Qubic to be one of the main players. So yes, AI is going to be one of the hot topics of the conference for sure.
Yeah, in fact, in Singapore, there were three main keynotes in the morning, and they were devoted to AGI. So it's it's a trend, and we hope to find there some AGI also conference and people who are on it too.
Hi.
Very cool.
I have a
Oh,
question.
go ahead, Peter. Yeah, go ahead.
Jose, David, good to see you. Good time of day. I'll start with, I always support you guys and your proposals because you're one of the basis of Qubic together with technical development and marketing. The one thing I wanted to ask is once you go to those conventions and do whatever the presentations and workshops, I don't feel you give enough feedback after it's over. So the community or me personally, I don't know what happened there. There is no sort of report. There is no, if you speak on stage, great to see you recording. And I'm saying it because, CFB is working on AI content. It's a complete black box. So we're just looking for at least a little bit of information on what's happening on that front. So yeah, that's my comment to it.
Yeah, I think you are right. You're absolutely right. And when we went to Singapore, it was our first time, and we just wrote a brief summary in an article. But we can now have we get your idea, and you're absolutely right. And we can do like a summary and like a documentary to explain what's been going on there, what we've done, what trends do we feel they are in the field. So I absolutely agree, and in fact in the budget we included some audiovisual this time because we thought this was very important for you to understand, as you say, but also for all the community to get to know each other, what we are doing, and spread the word. So from my point of view, absolutely agreed with your proposal.
Yeah, totally in sync. And in this occasion, if we go for the workshop, one good thing is that the ITU is going to publish it. There's going to be real interviews that are going to be published in this UN institution. So it's going to be a lot of outreach beyond where we can, of course, as Jose said, we of course will share more. But yeah, this time will be with a lot of more activities in that regard. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, guys, we have some more questions for you. Let me just read it out. And guys, if you have any questions, you can drop them here, or you can go to the AMA channel. I'm sort of centralizing all the questions there. There's a question from Gate who's asking you, when did you think the updated scientific paper will be released? It's under review now. You guys can give a glimpse.
Mm-hmm. We just sent a new paper for the August conference. We sent it yesterday, and usually the reviewers take some time. So maybe in a month or month and a half, we will know from reviewers or some rebuttals, even if we have to make some changes or whatever. And we've sent also a position paper, which is a summary of the first paper, to NeurIPS conference in San Diego for December. So it will take some months. As soon as we know results from these papers, we will share it with everybody. So there is no problem regarding this. Sometimes there's so the amount of papers that the conference receives is so huge that sometimes even the reviewers reject some papers without even almost reading them. So, but we are on it. In fact, the position paper we just sent to NeurIPS, to the San Diego conference, is based in some of the things that reviewers told us before for another conference. So this is science. It's quite hard, but this is the way. Sometimes we have some problems because we don't have like a tool to make some experiments. So some of the papers are like a position paper track, but we will keep you updated, of course, at any moment.
Awesome.
Yeah, we need to think that, of course, one quick thing. Of course, we need to think that, of course, the papers that we are building are based on what we know that is being built across IGARTH and, of course, across the AI science, but also because we want also to help steer the Qubic science at large. So there are also some sort of proposals for CFB and for the team of the things that we think can be interesting to focus and really to develop into the AI core of Qubic in some regard. And this new paper, the Neuroxam paper, that is also presented as this AGI paper for August. Of course, regardless of the presentation there, we will publish it at some point in the following months also, so everybody can share it, and of course to try to steer the discussion into that regard. So yes, we will keep you posted as soon as we have any new information on that.
Thank you so much. There's another question from Qubic, who's asking, whose attention would you hope to draw at these events for potential partnerships?
So I can go. Yeah, I think the amount of key decision people that is going to be at for good is going to be quite large. But of course, there are many companies that can be quite interested in trying to work with Qubic in different areas. From the research side, since it's going to be an open project, I think we can find good opportunities to talk from the main AI companies. We can talk from OpenAI to, of course, to all the big companies in that regard, to another research labs, and of course many big corporations that can be interested in maybe investment or maybe trying to understand what Qubic is. One of the main things to try to build this workshop too, or the other side events that we have been doing, smaller ones like the ones that we did in iClear, were precisely to that, to really draw attention on people from different sides. I think we don't have enough if we just have these 100K people on X and on other areas, another social media that we can really reach. We need to really have the Qubic in the mindset of many people. And if these key decision people, these CEOs, these owners of very big corporations with billions in revenue, of course, can be quite interesting. We can draw the attention of many of these people. As I say, we have from big investors. From one of the times that I went, I was close in British Electric, for example, with Ansari, one of the first female astronauts, and also a private investor behind all the X projects and many things like that. That are really quite keen in also trying to invest in new things that can be really game changers. So I think the audience is quite broad, and of course, once we were able to set up the workshop, we will see how we can frame it so we can really focus on targeting the right people.
Thank you so much, David. There's another question from El Clip, who's asking, are you considering any particular proposals / offers that could happen after assisting to this event? I think it's a bit similar to the question that you've answered before, I think. But
yeah, I think we need to wait what we find there, and as David said, many people could be presumably interested in this project, and we just need to know them and to show them what we are doing, and then we will see what kind of proposals and offers and markets we can find, and we can start some sort of relation or collaboration.
Yeah, that's why we also want to have another member to join, Daniel in this case, because also we want to spread not only just tell the science and tell the technology, but also try to have this other side trying to make markets really and foster that. That's why these three people. And maybe we can ask CFB if he wants to come. Will be nice too.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he's listening. I think that's a great idea. Okay, last question, I think, for you guys from what I've seen. No, there are two more questions, and then I think we can move over to you, Jen. What did we benefit from the Singapore event? So if you have to give me maybe Jose and David, sort of the three outcomes of the Singapore event, what would they be?
Well, I can give you a couple, maybe you can go you want, Jose, too. But of course, going to these research events are really focused on trying to not only to outreach what in this case Qubic is doing, but also to share what Qubic is already working on with key people. In these keynotes that Jose said, for example, we will talk directly to one of the main AGI research centers in China. And we know that many computers are in China too. And he was the first time that he heard about Qubic. Also, we also foster and set up several small side events, not as large as this workshop that we want to create here in For Good. And in there we have like different setups. One of them was fully related to the blockchain and the centralized AI in general. And there we focus we meet with people that really, of course, was again the first time that they heard about that. We had another about regarding to education, and we meet with key people from 4 continents, if I don't remember. I remember correctly, and of course they understand that having this kind of decentralized network, not just directly the AI thing, but the other things that Qubic can provide, also was like very, very insightful for them. And yes, it is. I don't know if you, Jose, want to.
Yeah, I totally agree. When you go to these kind of places in a subject like AI, which changes every week, you need to know which is the state of the art every single day. So this is the place these are the places to know this state of the art. And of course, you get people to know Qubic. You know people who are in these kind of projects, and with the side events and all the people you are knowing, you get a whole idea of what's going on in this precise moment. So it's like a connection, building networking, and doing things little by little to get to know this project. So we believe it's very important, although sometimes we don't see the direct benefit for us. It's like accumulating some knowledge and people who might be interested in the very near future.
Thank you so much. And then I think the last question from one of our community leads is, what's the latest on iGuard? Is there any update perhaps that you would like to share with the audience?
We really don't have any more news from CFB at that point. I think the development of the second phase, as you remember, in December, the first phase was finished, is going to be a bit lengthy because, of course, they need to tune up all these new neural models to really start to train on that regard. So we don't have any new information so far from CFB. So we cannot share. Of course, once we have more contact with him and he let us know that something can be outreach, we will be glad to share.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I see one last question, and perhaps we can take this one from BitChaser, and then Jen, I'm really coming to you. The question from BitChaser is: how often does CFB update you as the AI guys on the progress with iGuard?
That's a really good question. I think we will want to have more connection with him. We already have some connections, like every month more or less, but we want to have more. That's one key factor. He is developing, of course, he's the mind behind all the AI thing. We are just whisperers somehow of him, trying to help him steer or give him hints in regarding, of course, the neurobiological things in the case of Jose in the AI thing on my side. But yes, I think it's one of the good questions. We want to have more connection with all the iGuard team, but as you know, it's a bit close somehow because he is developing and he's very keen of releasing things only when he is really sure that his work of art is really ready. But yes, we are there, and we want to be more there. And I hope that these events that we are keep building, this paper that we are releasing, can help move that into that direction and be more close to all the iGuard team in some regard. But yes, good question also.
Thank you so much, guys. Please stick around if there are any last minute questions. Jen, hey, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks. Hello.
Hello.
It sucks to follow such a strategic thought leadership piece with something really tactical, but my proposal is pretty tactical and basic.
Yeah, but it's awesome,
we'll go
and
for
it's
it.
just as important. So, Jen, the floor is yours.
Thanks. So this is a sprint to take us through the next 4 to 8 weeks. We timed it specifically. There was a question actually recently in the Discord proposal channel around why did we submit? We submitted because we think this is time of the essence. There is, we need to capitalize right now on market momentum, and with the planned announcements that the ecosystem and partners have planned for the next 8 weeks before people take off for summer break, as well as other things that could happen in the market. I'm not going to get into market because that's not my domain. The gist of it is that we need to make sure that we have budget available to speak to specific campaigns, and we've proven out with data that we need to have a weekly focus. So the idea is there's a weekly news item or news focus that we centralize our communications around. And then, for example, next week, we're planning on launching V1 of Qubic Academy, which we've been talking about for a long time. And we want to do it properly with a press announcement, crypto articles, AMAs, different things like that. So obviously much more emphasis and investment would go into something like Vote and Bridge, or more importantly, something like Nostromo. Because once we have a launch pad, that opens up, it unlocks so much capability, and we need to have budget available to create awareness. These are global campaigns. They have KPIs with these sprints that we're doing. We have obviously a very strong toehold in the EU market. We also have a very strong partner there that is part of this proposal, helping us with Cointribune and Fricas. But also, we really want to lean into the existing relationships we have with the Block, CoinGecko, Cointelegraph, for example, to make sure that we're really hitting the North American market. Over the last while, we've seen the North American market contribute to in our X. They're coming up as the lead, and we want to make sure that we really grow that. And especially when we have a focus on top tier exchanges, we need to be part of the conversation and getting out into other ecosystems. And the only way to reach outside of ourselves and our own internal discussions in Discord is to invest. So, and as far as investments go, this is extremely conservative, bare minimum, really, if you want to make a dent. But the idea being that each of these have a kill switch. It's a 1 week sprint with a 1 week optimization and report. And then we either kill or we recalibrate, and then we optimize and go to the next one, so that we're constantly learning, and we're not asking the community or computers or anyone to invest big, huge chunks of money up front with big agencies. We're going to learn and be scrappy, and we might make some mistakes, but if we do, they're going to be very small and very measured with a kill switch. Did you want me to go into other specifics, or did you want me to start just asking questions?
Yeah, I think it'd be good perhaps if the community gets the opportunity to ask you some questions, and maybe I can start, just being here anyway, and hopefully inciting other people to ask some questions too.
You can be devil's advocate.
Yeah. I'll try to be nice. No. Hey, so you said that you're aiming to build these weekly sprints, right? Will the community get access to what is it, like progression reports and whatnot? And is that something that we can share also in public?
Yeah, absolutely, we can. I started doing it weekly sprints with just some of the smaller team, like a smaller team, if you will, on how we're doing weekly right now with the tests we're doing, just running on volunteers. How did we do before we had full-time, full group? And then how are we doing right now on our volunteer base? Please note that the creative and everything, the branding and everything we're using right now is just an open brand until we get the new one, which we're working on in the background on a complete strategy and comms session. But this will be very much out in the open, and this will be published in a channel. There's a marketing channel. Thank you, Talent, for setting that up, where we will be publishing these reports weekly, and we can do async discussions, or I can even do a quick weekly AMA with folks if they want to jump in and ask questions. But yeah, it'll be out in the open in Discord.
Good. All right, perfect. I'm going to go to the first few questions from the community. I think some might also be answered by you also, Albert. So, but I guess that's okay. Cubify is asking, why is the price action not reflecting updates or / marketing? Are we doing something wrong? So maybe he's asking, like, what's the relation, between marketing and price? Perhaps in your experience, Jen, and perhaps Albert can also take this one.
Albert, do you want to go first since you focus more on that, or do you want me to flag it?
I can go first. There's something about that we have to consider about Qubic is that it's quite a complex market because we do have emissions. We have a new release that it's going great from my point of view, the Monero mining. If you see the growing pace of the mining hash rate, it's great. Also, it shows a lot of adaptation where the core developers, TCAT, has been working and now has included a hybrid mining to increase their earnings. And on Wednesday, we will have a new change of the algorithm that it might attract a lot of CPU miners. So this is great. But in the other hand, there's something that we are not able to control, and is the market. And we have to think that we are in a very early stage. We don't have dApps beyond QX. QX is the only dApp that we have that it's very usable right now. That's why from our team ecosystem, we are getting the focus on delivering QSwap, Bottom, and also Nostromo. These 3 dApps that can increase adoption. The adoption that we have is purely, I would say, like 40% speculation, and it means that it's traders that they don't care about the project; they just want to make money, which I think it's legit, But this combined with the mission that we have, sometimes it's not working that great. So what we are doing is a plan, for instance, with the Monero mining to decrease these emissions, so we can put a lot of pressure on the buying side, on the buying ask of Qubic. And also we have to promote, we have to create new dApps to bring more developers, to bring more entrepreneurs that can bring adoption into Qubic. If you see what happened in the past when we delivered the white paper, it was such a good hit. We have like a 5x in less than 1 week. It was incredible. So I think it's a combination of everything, but I'm sure that things will change. And I will pass the microphone into Jen, so maybe you can add something related to marketing and your experience.
Sure. I mean, I think at this point where we are critically is the way we're going to grow audience. Like the primary lever for our X should be to be growing audience engagement with quality audience engagement, which was then going to help token. If it's not quality and it's just people looking at the number of just impressions, we're not going to be affecting our token price. So it really comes down to what is the quality of the content we're putting out. We know that video wins from our testing. We also know that long form works, but we know most of all what does the best is when we start demonstrating the utility of the network, which is going to be directly related to exactly what Albert just said. The way that you can affect token price is demonstrating proof from other people, building, analyzing and reporting, or validating. And that's the way you're going to budge token in my experience.
Yeah. Hey, and perhaps as a follow-up question, Jen, because like I think it's interesting for the audience perhaps also to get like a glimpse of your thinking, also when it comes to what is it like running some of these campaigns, right? I think one of the questions has been, why haven't we gone, guns blazing with the, with Monero mining? Why did we, or perhaps a little bit humble, I would say, on the launch?
Yeah.
What's the thinking behind that?
Like marketing wants to go guns blazing. So when we don't, there's a reason. Marketing's default mode is guns blazing because when we get something as exciting as that, that's what we want to do. If you see me or others being patient, it's because I've been advised by a committee of what to do. And I take into account all of those as my strategic advisors and then behave accordingly. Now, luckily or unluckily, it's just me. So it's not like I'm advising a team of like 5 to 10 marketers. But what we did with this, in this case specific with Monero, is we spoke with every single stakeholder, every single lead, got consensus, as well as had a channel where we workshopped the exact language, every word that was put out. And was approved by a committee. So it's very different approach. And when you see marketing out doing things, I'm not making shit up, and I'm not being lazy or unresponsive. I'm going to make mistakes, of course. But in this case, something as huge as Monero is because we're waiting. So I've been advised on what does success look like? Can we say something when we're ready? We have a video and we have other things ready to go. Because we don't want to inject risk. And it would be very risky if I had gone out when it launched and created a big, huge campaign with a nothing data point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah. I think it's good to clarify that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just know, we really want these campaigns, and we've been waiting just like you. And we too have wallets with Qubic in them, and we too are paid. That's our livelihood, our paycheck. So we do not want to be doing anything that could negatively be affecting price or sentiment or how the community is feeling. That's the last thing we want. Yeah, and that's the case also, just, lastly, the other thing too, just, in terms of the creative that we're putting out right now, we're being very experimental. You'll see specifically testing different types of things to see what happens and how they make things work or don't work. The use of a font, the use of a graphic, the use of a video, the use of whatever, what works and what doesn't. And some people can say right now, our marketing is shit, or we don't know what we're doing, and that's totally fine. But just know that we're doing things with intention. And when we're doing them, they are all approved and vetted by a group of people. So, it's totally okay that we're making. I really appreciate that we're doing this experimentation as a group, and it's not going to be awesome, but we really need to learn, I think, in order for us in this market, for us to learn what actually works for Qubic.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
There are some more questions. Let's see. Are there any plans for being part of the conversation within the Middle East where there's progress and capital within the AI space? I guess this is again like a question for you, Jen. I mean, you've been recently to Token. I think you've seen up close what crypto and AI means, and perhaps Albert also, if you're something to chime in, feel free to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge market. It's the number one market where we should be. I absolutely believe that. I think we need to have a strategic approach to that and be there later this year or next year, when all the big festivals come back around. I would like to see us be there sooner with a specific value prop, so that we can start being part of these conversations where there's very large grants that are being given out by the Crown Prince. So I think, yes, and they are all AI focused. We have seen that they've been talking about AI being taught in schools. We know that each of the CTOs of all of the different levels of government, I don't know how many there are. There's maybe, I don't even know. There's a lot. And every CTO for each division has its own AI purview that they're mandated to fulfill. And I think we need to be at the table. But that's going to be me leaning on Albert, and this is a segue over to you, and Jose and David on what we can talk about and how we can do, broker these. I can set the stage, but I need them to come to the table in terms of strategy and the value prop of what Qubic offers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just gonna scroll down to some other question. Monfalcone, I'm just reading through your message, man. Just want to make sure it's not already answered. What's your plan to get the price action better? Sadly, we're being very pump and dump coin. I think that question has just been answered by by Albert around the price. Not mistaken. I see that Brit Chaser had another question as to clarify. He's asking. Okay. He's asking. It feels like CFB is operating to the side of the Qubic, the company, and it may not be as joined up as it needs to be. Just how it comes across. Could you help us with getting a feel for the reality, especially if that's a really unfair summary? So I've asked him basically to clarify his question a bit, but I think he's asking like how we in general also collaborate with CFB. Albert, that's maybe the best for you. I think if you can, take that question.
Well, yes, sure. We've been trying to make CSV like more visible from the team. I encourage a lot David and Dr. Sanchez to talk with him about what's the roadmap, what's the next step, what do you think about if we evolve in some way. I know that they have this some conversations between them and him, but CSV is a personality, and we would like to have him more in meetings, to be with us in events, but I think it is how it is. But he's not fully unplugged, as you said. He wants Qubic to succeed, and we have a lot of internal conversation with him about what do you think about this, and so on. At the end of the day, I think he's the leader. He is the one that is showing us what is the way that we have to follow. But this is a community project also. Also, we have to be a piece of the puzzle and do our thing, not only him.
Yeah, exactly. And I do know, right, Albert, that if there are any urgent matters, is that you guys are often in each other's DMs where you ask questions, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think David and Dr. Sanchez, they have a conversation about the evolution of AI in biology, and they were discussing about this thing. If I'm not mistaken, it was like a few weeks ago, if I'm not wrong, David, Jose?
Yes, about 2 months ago, yeah. Yeah, that in fact was the beginning of the Neuraxon paper, talking about him, about what is maybe some roadblocks and things that, and that's where it came all about, yeah, talking with him, yeah. It inspires the development of these new papers, so we build it so maybe of help to the development process of AGARTH.
Yeah. Great. So Brit Chaser, I hope that answered your question a bit. We have, I think, 8 more minutes before the hour has passed, and I want to make sure that the community had the opportunity to ask all the questions that they wanted. The paid marketing proposal is active for comps to vote on. Also, the AI Science for Good also conference is online. I think I'm messing up the names, guys. I hope you can forgive me. But both of these proposals are online, and which means that the voting for comms also has actually started. Or sorry, it's open for votes, and it would end tomorrow at 12 p.m. UTC. I've been talking to so slowly to make sure that you guys can still ask some questions if you have any questions. If there are no other questions, then I would like to go back to my guests perhaps and ask them if they have any closing statements perhaps that they would like to make before they're closing up the call.
Maybe I can go first.
Yeah.
Well, I think these two proposals are really important. Without marketing, we don't have any option to get to broader audiences. And also, we are a project that is aiming to have an AGI in 2027. I'm going to this event in in Brazil, it's a very good opportunity to onboard more scientists, to get more attention, and to bring more scientific community into Qubic. So that's all.
Yeah, my 2 cents is that, of course, Qubic should be science too. If we want really to decouple from all the other coins and all the other people that are trying to build up on this revolution, we need to also decouple from them by using real science. And this real science is what really can make Qubic go to the first positions of and be like one of the main coins out there. And that is where Hypergood, the AGI 2025, then in August, that we are also planning to go, and RIPS and others. That's one of the fundamental pieces to really have Qubic presence there and have really a say in all this AGI conversation and not just something that can happen in the future.
Should I go last?
Yeah, please.
Sure. I mean, I think if marketing's doing its role properly, it will work in tandem, well orchestrated with exactly these types of initiatives, with our scientists being out there. Yes, a blog is great, but there's a lot that marketing can be doing with a little bit of budget available for awareness. So that's an exact example of something that we do. We would slot in as a weekly campaign and leverage specific to the scientific communities. We need to be, I keep saying it, but we need our new narrative and our storytelling to be talking about much broader topics to much broader audiences. And so I think it's twofold. I want to see them succeed and have their proposal approved, because it's absolutely imperative to have that type of awareness, exposure, and content to drive our paid advertising efforts.
Yeah. Thank you so much, folks. This call has been recorded, so for everyone who has just joined now, no fear, we will share the recording with you. I believe that Sense will actually also provide a translation, I think to simplified Chinese, if I'm not mistaken, to Mandarin, if I'm not mistaken, so that we can also share it through, to some of the, the parts of the communities that have a little bit more difficult understanding with English. What I would also like to ask El Clip, if he's still listening here, is I would love to do a poll and to ask the community, what did you think of this session? Look, this is an experiment, the Qubic Proposal AMA. We want to make sure that any proposer still has an opportunity to present his or hers also proposal live, also to comps and also to the community. And I would like to learn from all of you guys if you think this is time well spent. And whatnot. Until that point, I would like to thank you all for joining in, asking all your questions. I think this was a super interactive session, at least from my point of view. And I believe the aim is to organize a Qubic All Hands next week, where we have the broader ecosystem also presenting their progress and their achievements. And I hope to see you there. For now, wish you a wonderful evening or a wonderful afternoon, and we speak soon. Cheers, folks. Bye-bye.